Friends, Jordan Montgomery here, and we're glad that you've tuned into another episode of the Growth Over Goals podcast. Before we jump into today's conversation, we want to give a shout out to our sponsor, Thompson & Co. Salon and Parlor. Thompson & Co. Salon and Parlor is a family-owned, stylist-owned community salon that fits the needs for all types of families. Located in downtown Iowa City and now a second location in Coralville, North Liberty area, TCO specializes in all things hair. In fact, that's where I've been getting my hair done for the last 7 years. TCO specializes in hair cutting, razor cutting, the most modern color techniques, and high-end hair extensions. As one of Iowa's only inner coiffure salons and Salon Today's top 200 salons in the U.S., TCO looks forward to being the salon of choice for you and those you love. Be sure to call or book on their website today at thompsonandcosalon.com. Thank you, TCO, for all you do for us and our community. Welcome back to the Growth Over Goals podcast. I'm your host, Jordan Montgomery. Today, I'm with my dear friend, Luke Lachey. Mr. Lachey is graduating tomorrow as we record this. So as our listeners are hearing it, you will have already been graduated.
Right.
You are a tight end at the University of Iowa. You're from the state of Ohio. Mm-hmm. You have a rich background in Ohio State athletics. Your dad played there, then went on to have a successful career in the NFL. Your mom also went to Ohio State.
Yep.
You have a cousin who now swims at Ohio State. You have a brother-in-law who played football at Ohio State, now plays in the NFL. All of your sisters went to Ohio State, and you had two uncles who also played football at Ohio State. Yeah. But check this out. He chose the Iowa Hawkeyes. Yeah, and it's my personal opinion that he's better, and I think the opinion of many, that you're better than any tight end on the Ohio State roster. So we got one of the good ones out of the state of Ohio. But Luke, I've come to just appreciate you as a friend. I know you as so much more than just a football player. You're a believer. You're a leader. You're a team captain on the football team. But really, man, I just think you're a captain on campus. I've just seen your impact with your peer group. You've had an impact on me just in the time that we've hung out and gotten to know each other. So love you, man. Appreciate you. And I'm just glad that you were willing to jump on the podcast and hang out. Welcome to the show.
Yeah, thank you very much for having me on. I'm really excited. Thank you for all the kind words. You know, I should just bring him everywhere with me. He just my intro guy whenever I walk into a room.
Well, bro, I mean this. Like, so there's some people listening, and there's kind of two groups, right? There's a group of Hawkeye fans listening, and they're thinking like, this is great because we get to hear about the upcoming season, and we want to hear from Luke Lachey about how he's doing and coming back from injury. And then there's a group of people listening, and they're not Hawkeye fans.
Right.
But I have a message for those people. They're going to get a lot out of this episode today because Luke's battled a lot this past year and has a lot to share, I think, just about the mental game, about leadership. And so we're going to dig into, man, to what the last year of your life has looked like. And I'd also say this, if you have a child playing sports, so maybe you've got a son or a daughter who's competitive, I think Luke is a great role model. Man, I've just watched your humility, how you've carried yourself, how you treat people. And so we might get into that today as well. But the point is this is still heavy note-taking, even if you're not a Hawkeye football fan. Let's dig in.
Let's go.
First things first, you're coming back from injury. You got hurt last year, third game of the season?
Third game,
against Western Michigan. Yep. You had this sort of All-American status coming into the year. You would have likely been all Big Ten selection. You were a leading receiver. And in game 3, you go down with a season-ending injury. Take us to that moment.
Yeah, I remember it very clearly. I know the play. I know where we were on the field. So September 16th, now that you say it, it also helps that it's one of my good friend's birthdays. But it was just a rough time. I mean, I ran a route, broke out on it, caught it. The guy, tackled me kind of awkwardly, and landed on my ankle and dislocated on the field. I looked down, I knew something was wrong. I dropped the ball after, like all this stuff, and saw my ankle pointing a different way, and just kind of hung out on the ground until the trainers got there. Luckily, it popped right back in when they touched it, but I mean, it was not a great feeling, but. It could have been worse.
It was rough, man. I remember, so our oldest daughter, Audrey, who's now 13, should have been 12 at the time. She looked at me and she said, "Dad, it's not good."
Yeah.
And then Ashley said, my wife said, "I don't think Luke's coming back." So we knew right away that it was significant.
Yeah.
You ended up missing the rest of the season, but you hung in there as a teammate. You were still named team captain even after all that went down.
Yeah.
Talk to us about what you learned from the sideline, like supporting your teammates, playing a very different role than you thought you would play.
Yeah.
What did God teach you in that season? What did you learn about yourself? Give us some of the insights to what you learned last year.
Yeah. I think he taught me a lot about patience. I learned that, good things come with time. I learned a lot from watching my teammates to appreciate what it's like to be out on the field, not when you're not out there all the time. I think it's really, really special to be able to be healthy and play and everything. I also felt like I learned I don't even know, to be honest. I mean, it was a really tough time, but at the same time, I felt like I was grateful for the opportunity to continue to help out my teammates in a moment where this was a big time for them. We had another tight end go down, Eric All, later on in the season, and so we had guys that really depended on our leadership, and if I wasn't there, then things might not have been great for them. And they went out there and did a really great job, continuing to have a lot of success on the field. Addison Ostrenga and Steven Stilianos did a really good job stepping into that role. And they should take all the credit, and I'm happy that I was able to help them out in those moments. But I think it was a team effort. We had a great defense. We were all working hard on offense, and our special teams are always great. But I think there's just a lot to be said about the leadership from other guys on the team as well, and everyone just continuing to step up and filling in that next man role.
Well, I remember digging into some scripture with you. We talked about James 1, 2, and 3, right? Mm-hmm. Consider it pure joy, my brothers and sisters, when you go through trials of many kinds.
Yeah.
Because the testing of your faith produces perseverance.
Right.
And so I think about your future, this time next year. I mean, you'll probably know what franchise you land with, right? And you're really hopeful that you'll have a long NFL career. And I do just believe there's lessons you learned from this past season that you'll carry with you into the NFL.
For sure.
And hopefully makes you a better leader and football player.
Yeah.
But more than anything, just a better human. So, I respected how you bounced back and the way that you carried yourself and cheered on your teammates, and you were present, and I remember saying to Ashley, I just said, I think this is a year where Luke grows in all these other areas, that are ultimately more important than the game of football.
Exactly.
So you still go 10-2, right? You make it to the Big Ten championship. It was a successful season, even though you were out with injury. Starting quarterback Cade McNamara out with injury. Eric All, who also could have been an all Big Ten selection, out with injury. So the offense is hampered with like all this injury.
Yeah.
And then there was some noise too, right? Like there's noise about the offense. And so again, you're in the middle of that. You care deeply about your coaching staff, and you had this successful year. So talk to us about how you navigated like some of that narrative, because you're in the locker room, right? You know what's going on. People outside don't know what's going on. Like, how are you handling that?
Yeah, I think just trying to ignore as much as you can. Coach Ferentz does a really good job of, kind of telling us that the only people's opinions that truly matter are those that you respect and the people in this building. He'd say that in team meetings. And, I think that we kind of carried that with us, and it helped us, stay away from all the naysaying and everything like that. And I felt like it was a good for us because that's what we needed at the time. And I just really enjoyed that, and and having guys that weren't on the field still being out there at every practice and trying to lead. I'm sure like Cade, Eric, and I all would tell you that we'd be doing a disservice to the team if we weren't out there trying to lead off the field as well. And I just think that it was really important for the team at the time, and it helped push us forward as well.
Well, I think about how this year's team will be positioned better, and that other guys got playing time and reps, right, and experience that they wouldn't have had. So you could argue in many ways this year's team, you think about Addison's a great example, right, of like who came in and played for you, right? Like Addison got reps that he wouldn't have had otherwise and had, game time experience. Now he still would have played, but he had a bigger role, took more snaps, probably grew a lot in his confidence.
Yeah, I for sure. He did a great job stepping in there. And, I think that he really stepped up as a leader last year. I think he felt more confident in his abilities and trying to help out the offense. And he was a great leader to begin with. He's more of a guy that like leads by example, and he works as hard as anyone I know. And I'm just really happy he's in our room and that, we're teammates. But I think that it was really great for him. And he really stepped up in the moment, and I'm just really, really glad.
I think it's safe to say we have maybe two of the best tight ends in the country, in you and Addison. So it'll be fun to watch you guys this year.
It'll be fun. Yeah, we got a lot of the guys in that room that can really go. So I'm excited about it.
Okay, we're going to talk about next year's team in just a second.
Yeah.
But before we go there, there's this old quote. You could tell a lot about a person watching them play hurt.
Mm-hmm.
I watched you play hurt. We all did.
Mm-hmm.
You battled well. You actually took up reading.
Mm-hmm.
I think you already were doing some reading, but you had more downtime. Like you had more time to read, right? So talk to us about what that was like. Why did you pick up reading? What did you read? How did that impact your leadership?
Yeah, it was great. I think the first book I read was The Energy Bus by John Gordon. That one really helped. I think gain my more confidence going forward as a leader. I felt like I could really lead on the field, and off the field I wasn't really sure how my role fit in that section or in that side of it. So I think just showing up every day with a positive attitude, and coming in and eager to help out is a big thing. And I think that book really helped me in that area, because just showing up with a smile on my face, the circumstances weren't great, but it could be a lot worse. All I had was a dislocated ankle that required surgery. So things could have been a lot worse. It's a sport, it's a game. It's the risks that you take playing football, but coming in with a smile on your face and going and trying to help and just having that positive energy was really special and helped me. That book was special to me. And I just think that was a great start. Then I moved to some other books.
The Harry Potter series.
Harry Potter series.
Come on now.
Yeah.
Let's go.
I'm still working on that. And it's a shame because I've been taking some time off, but I'm going to pick it up.
You get back into
weeks.
it.
Yeah. And then
that's good.
over the summer. So I'll finish.
All right, I got to ask you. So what is it about the Harry Potter series?
Mm-hmm.
Full confession. I have not read the Harry Potter books. So shame on me. I know you're judging. Judging. But what is it about the Harry Potter books that you like so much?
Oh, I just love, I don't know. It reminds me so much of my childhood, I think.
Yeah.
Growing up, I despised it for whatever reason. I don't know why, but my oldest sister, Paige, she loved them. And I just was like, I'm not giving it a chance, blah, blah, blah. Like Star Wars is way better. This is up until fourth grade. And I'm just like, fourth grade, I finally watched the movies and I fell in love with it. So then I started reading them then. And it took me about 2 years to read them back then. And so now I hopefully won't take 2 years to read the books, but I don't know. I just like the fantasy of it, the story. I don't know. It's all great. And especially the books. There's so many more details that are in the book
than the movies.
Yeah.
So. Bro, so I respect this about you, because I think there's, in the world of sports, it can be a kind of a macho, sort of world, especially for guys, right? For
sure.
But I think you've just always been your own person.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to like what I like and do what I do and lean into the things that I care about.
Sure.
I think that's made you a more effective leader. You're most effective when you're most authentic.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you've just remained authentic in your leadership journey.
Thank you.
You've also managed to stay humble and grounded and not let some of the noise or some of the unbridled enthusiasm from other people really get to your head. Talk to us about what you've done to stay grounded. What's that journey been like for you?
Yeah, I think it's kind of the way my parents raised me. They did a great job. I feel like just making sure that we all continue to stay grounded. And I've kind of looked from the outside and seen people who aren't very humble. It come back to kind of bite them. And I didn't ever want that to be that way. And the other thing is, I don't, think that, I'm more special than the next person just because I play, college football and have found some success. I think that everyone is, equally special, and deserves the right to go out there. I mean, just to I don't know, get the same credit that anyone else does. So I don't think that, me playing a sport, puts me on a different level than anyone else. So I think that's a big thing. And I don't know. I just think everyone deserves to be happy. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I love that you recognize the goodness and greatness in all people, and you and I were talking about this recently. It's a John Maxwell story. He was a friend and a mentor, and he was having a lot of success, his mid-20s. And he had a friend pull him aside, and it took him out to lunch. He was a mentor of John's, and he's like, John, you're having a lot of success. And John's like, yeah, and he's like, and I bet people are telling you that you're pretty great. And John's like, yeah, I guess I'm hearing that, a decent amount, right? Like John was speaking all over the world at the time, and he's really starting to kind of grow in popularity. And this mentor looked at John. He said, he gave me one of the greatest gifts. He looked at me and he said, John, you are not amazing.
Right.
Your gifts are amazing, but you're not amazing.
Right.
And just don't forget that your gifts were given to you and they can be taken away. And I think that's part of your DNA, Luke, is that you also believe, right? And I think you know that your gifts aren't your own and that God entrusted you with a unique ability to play the game of football, right? Which is great. But I love that you have stewarded your gift and you haven't lost sight of the fact that God is the giver of all good things, So I appreciate that about you. All right, so football season is around the corner.
Yeah.
We're getting close, man.
I know.
Talk to us about this team. We have some people listening. They want some insight on what to expect. Who's looking good? Who's surprised you? What are we going to see with the new offensive coordinator? Like, man, give us an update on this year's team.
I think the most glaring thing is there are a lot of guys coming back. A lot of guys could have gone on and, tried other things or, just, I know Quinn Schulte could have gone to dental school, but he decided to come back and play with us for another season, which I'm super excited about. But yeah, there are a lot of guys coming back, and I think that's the biggest thing. We have a lot of, we're a developed team, and not saying that we won't continue to develop, but we got a lot of old guys. So I don't know, old heads, experience, and so it's good. That's the most obvious thing. I think with Coach Lester, we're going to see a lot more motion. That's biggest thing I've seen. A lot of pre-snap stuff, which I think anyone has heard now. If you've listened to anyone talking to the media, that's the first thing we'll say. And I think the big thing about that though is it'll just it keeps our defense on their toes, and it'll keep a lot of opposing defenses not sure where we're going to end up in our final formation, and I like that about it. It's great. And then on offense we got Cade's coming back, and he'll be really good for us. He's a great leader and someone that's going to go out there and do whatever it takes to help us win the game. Yeah. And that's what you want in a quarterback. And then, we have a very experienced, O-line. They've worked together for now like 3 years, pretty much. It seems like the same guys out there, and, with some guys, kind of leaving and coming in at different points, but it's been really good at the O-line, and I'm excited for them. They always work hard. It seems like those guys are always together, either getting
Connected.
food. Yeah, exactly. Always connecting and playing golf. They love to play golf. But yeah, I'm excited for them. Running backs, got a lot of guys coming back there. Every running back on the roster from last year is back, and huge. Le'Shawn Williams did a really, really good job. I was really excited for him. I'm happy he's back. And, Caleb Johnson is another guy who just a freak of nature kind of guy. So, I'm looking forward to watching those two and playing with those two, this year. So
no kidding, man.
But yeah, and then, Coach Parker always does a great job with that defense. So, and this spring they've showed it. So I'm excited for them too.
Who are a couple of guys for our listeners to keep an eye on? So maybe that didn't play as much last year. Either they're new to the team in general, or like they've just stepped into a new role. Who would be one or two guys that you'd say, hey, you need to pay attention to this person this year?
Yeah. One guy that came to my mind first was John Nestor. He's a DB. Yeah. He did a really good job this spring. I think that, he's physical, he's fast, he's got a good instinct. And I don't know, I'm just excited to watch him and see him excel in his role.
A lot of people have compared John to Cooper, right?
Yeah, and I mean, you can't really compare many people to Cooper DeJean.
He's a freak. That is fair. Yeah.
So I mean, that guy is, I don't know. I can't. I wouldn't say. I'd say John's more like Riley Moss. They are both like quick and they'll hit you, and they've both got this wire kind of off in their brain, in a really good way. But those two, I think, play more like each other than I'd say, Cooper. So. I don't know. I'm just excited for him.
It's great.
He's going to be a great player.
It's great.
And then another guy, man, I think Kamari Moulton. He's a running back. He had a really good spring as well. He
quick.
Yeah, really, really quick. He had a couple of touchdowns last year against Western Michigan, and but that guy just comes down hard and will find a hole, and when he sees it, he'll run through it. So I'm excited.
Might be the most talented group of backs we've had in quite a while, don't you think?
For sure. I agree. I don't know. You're good.
All right, we're gonna go quick hits. You ready?
Okay.
And just so our listeners know, I'm putting you on the spot.
All right.
Giving you nobody knows that you don't know.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Okay, so funniest player on the team.
Oh, I think Jay Higgins is.
Jay Higgins.
Yeah, now that might not be the most popular choice, but I think that Jay is funny. We came in the same class. I'm pretty close to Jay, and as good as he is a football player, he's a way better man, and he's also really funny. So that guy's awesome.
Another guy that decided to come back, right? That could have definitely gone to the league.
Yeah.
So
I'm super happy he's back.
Toughest player on the team.
Oh, I think Logan Jones. He's really tough. I don't want to miss out on anyone. We have a lot of tough guys, but Logan Jones is the first guy that came to my mind. He's battling some injuries last year and was always out there on the field. And the same with Jay Higgins. He was out there so much. He had, obviously had 171 tackles last year, and he was always out there, dependable for us and consistent. So those two guys, I'd say, are
one and two.
Toughest. Yeah, one
and
two.
Okay, all right, that's fair.
Yeah.
Kind of a segue, similar question. Who is the player on the team you would least want to get into a fight with?
Oh, probably Jennings Dunker.
He's a beast.
He's so big, that guy.
Hay bale toss champion, right?
Yeah.
Stolen Beast days.
Yeah, he's a legend.
Yeah.
He got the ray gun shirt with the hay bale toss, everything. So yeah, man, I think he would not be fun to see in a dark alley.
No question.
He'd be someone I want on my side, that's for sure.
For real. He's a big dude.
Yeah.
All right. Two more questions. Best overall athlete.
Oh, I'd tell you Cooper DeJean, but he's not on our team anymore.
Yeah.
That kid's unreal. Man, I don't know.
And you could say more than one guy. We know there's a lot of great athletes.
Yeah.
If you had to pick like a guy that's in the mix.
Yeah.
You can't say yourself.
I'm not. I might say
Luke
myself.
Lachey.
I would not. I would not say myself. Addison Ostrenga, he was a two-sport guy. He was committed to play baseball here. It seems like he's good at every sport.
Keeping it in the tight end room.
Yeah, keeping it in there. He, even like cornhole or bags, whatever you want to call it. He would just like hit everyone in the hole somehow when we were playing. He's like good at those
coordination.
Exactly, good at those kind of sports. And so I don't know. He's good, and he's super strong in the weight room too. So.
I like the guy that you chose was technically your backup. I'm not saying, but I'm just saying. Okay, gosh. one more quick hit. And we know there's a lot of great leaders, right? We know that.
Mm-hmm.
And my vote would be for Luke Lachey, and I really mean that.
Thank you.
Best leader on the team, not named Luke Lachey.
I'm going to go back to Jay Higgins. I think his leadership style, he really leads by example, and he has a real strong grasp of that linebacker room and the defense itself. And I think that he did a great job all last season, continuing to get those guys ready to perform, and out there on the field at the right time. And I don't know, I'm just really, really fortunate that we have him. We are all fortunate we have him on our team. And then I'd say Cade as well. Like Cade just has such a fiery competitiveness about him, and wants to do whatever it takes to win. And, he'll get on you if, things aren't right. And, I'm glad that, we get to work together to try to work things out. So definitely something you want. And, the quarterback of the offense and what you could say the quarterback of the defense, and Jay Higgins at the Mike linebacker. So I'm just glad they're on our team. So
yeah, it's awesome, man. Well, we can't talk leadership without acknowledging the fact that you play for one of the greatest leaders the sport has ever seen.
Absolutely.
Longest tenured coach in FBS Division I football, Kirk Ferentz.
Yeah.
When you think of Coach Ferentz, what comes to mind? And we all know the wins and losses and all the stats, right? He's had a ton of success in the game of football, but would love for you maybe even to share too, just a little bit about like why you respect him as a man and a leader.
Yeah. I mean, man, Coach Ferentz is the best. It's the little things, like, he's around a lot. He comes into our weight room when we're working out a lot, and just goes through and talks to everyone. Like if he's in there, you can expect him to say hello to you. It's those little things, and the ability he has to like remember like your family and, even like my girlfriend's name and everything. Like he could just come up to you and it's like, hey, how's your sister, Emily doing? Or how's your mom and dad? Like he asks a lot about that, and just really wants to know about the person, and cares more about that than, he really cares a lot about you on the field, but he really cares about the person. And then I think that's what has made him so successful. And obviously his knowledge of the game is, second to none. And I'm just really grateful to have the opportunity to play for him. He's great. So it's really, really special.
I know you've always talked real highly of both Coach Kirk and Brian Ferentz, and Brian actually was part of your recruiting process, right? So, so cool, man, that you've just honored the leaders that you've played for. You're always so quick to shout their praises. And one of the things that I've picked up on from being around you is that you really make other people brighter. Like you make their world brighter, you make them better. Like you're quick to shout praise or give encouragement. You're constantly talking about how your teammates are doing. Like you're just elevating people all the time. I don't even know if you know that you do that, but like in conversation, that's just part of kind of your ethos and who you are.
Right.
So, man, I think you are one of the best young leaders I've ever spent time with. Just aware, thoughtful, kind, humble, gifted communicator. Like your future's just off the charts bright.
It means a lot. Thank you.
And I'm more excited for you just as a man, than I am as a football player. Like I think about who you're going to be as a husband, right? And who you're going to be as a father. And I just know there's some really good things in store for you way out into the future. So excited for where your life is headed. Leave us with this, man, as we land this plane. And again, I'm putting you on the spot.
Okay.
What's maybe the greatest leadership lesson that you think you've ever learned?
I have to think about this one. I don't know. I've learned a lot through watching, and kind of listening, and hearing what people have to say and what they do through their actions. Sam Laporta is like one of my best friends, and like watching him operate for 3 years on the same team was a big factor of who I am today as a football player and a leader, I feel like. And, there are a lot of guys on our team that have had really successful college careers and gone on to, have successful NFL careers. And watching those guys like, Tyler Linderbaum and Jack Campbell, Sam, obviously, and, I'm leaving guys out, but, those are the first three guys that come to mind. And seeing how they operated was a big thing. And I was like, okay, if these guys are doing this, then that's what I got to be doing. And so I think, and they were all captains as well. Jack and Tyler were both 2-time captains. And I just, watching them and seeing how they did it was the biggest like kind of lesson as a whole,
example, right?
Exactly. A big example, and ended up turning into a lesson when, those guys were all gone. And I was like, well, someone's got to step up. And I feel like, if I just continue to do what I'm doing, I have a good shot. And, even going into fall camp last year, I wasn't entirely, I knew I was a Hawkeye championship captain, which there's 12 of us. And, at that point, I still wasn't sure whether or not I'd be a captain. I didn't even think of it. And then I was doing a rep against Joe Evans, and he, I gave him a high five. He's like, I want to walk out to you at midfield, for our first game in a couple weeks, as captains. And that's when I first thought about it. I was like, oh, wow. Like,
that's a moment. That's cool.
Yeah, this could be it. And so, yeah, I'll never forget that moment. But I'd say that like lesson and those examples as a whole really, really taught me to be who I am now. And I'm really fortunate for them. And those guys.
I think it was Albert Einstein that said leading by example isn't the primary way to lead. It's the only way to lead.
Yeah. Yeah.
And your actions will always speak louder than your words. So I love that response. You're paying attention to the guys who are living it out.
For sure.
Not just talking it, but walking it. So, man, I am grateful for you. Grateful for your friendship. Awesome to watch you grow. Awesome to see your impact. I think your future's off the charts bright.
Thank you.
You helped us get better today over the last 30, 40 minutes. And I'm just excited for this fall, man. You get to cut it loose.
Yeah.
Your girlfriend just moved to town.
Yeah.
Emma is going to be here in a month, technically,
yes,
right?
technically a month.
And you guys get to do life together.
I know. I'm excited.
What we believe to be the greatest city in
It's
America.
great. It sure is great,
isn't it?
Yeah. No, there's nothing like it,
Let me ask you that. What? So one more question, bonus question. What do you love most about being a Hawkeye?
Oh, the culture. I was just in a meeting about a week and a half ago with some other student athletes, and one thing that we all talked highly of was the culture, and that it's not just like the culture from football is very similar to the culture at track and field. And so I think that's great. And then I think that also mixes in with the culture of Iowa itself, and not just the Hawkeye sports program, athletics program. And, everyone's super nice and welcoming. And I mean, I couldn't have asked for a better place to go to in college and just kind of experience these 4 or 5 years for me. And any other place, I couldn't imagine being anywhere else. So it sure is special.
Well, you grew up a Buckeye, became a Hawkeye.
Yeah.
And I think you'd be one of the greatest to ever do it. So
that's true. That's
we're ready to watch you cut it loose, man. So
thank you.
Thanks again for being here, bro.
Appreciate
Always
that.
in your corner, man.
Thank you so much. God bless.
This has been another episode of the Growth Over Goals podcast. I'm your host, Jordan Montgomery. Thank you for listening. Thanks for being here. If you found any value in this episode, I would love it if you would rate, review, subscribe to this podcast in an effort that we might move our mission of impact forward. I also want to say thank you to our producers, John Choate and James Roth of Storyline Multimedia, for all of the work that they do behind the scenes to make this podcast go. Be well, be great. Have a wonderful day.